everybody. Welcome back. Today I want to quickly talk about physical health and the results, or how to measure the difference. So in exercise, we're going to use that as our kind of example again. In exercise, you have things where you measure progress based on where somebody starts and then where they end up. So in this way, we have the 1RM test, we have a grip strength test, we have the South Carolina dot drill, we have perceived exertion, we have lots of things like that. BMI, we have bioelectrical impedance, these kind of things, kind of either taking a look at change in composition, change in like end result, the amount that somebody can lift, the length that somebody can lift something for. For cardio, we have different tests. So when we take a look at physical health, do we have anything like that? And the idea is yes. We have roughly two forms of logically being able to take inventory of progress. One of those, similar to the 1RM in fitness, is somebody's, we'll say, perceived reality, right? So PR, there we go. So if somebody has PR that is close to what they can actually do, or the things that they're actually following through with, then we say it's good. So for example, if somebody comes in and you say, well, how many push-ups can you do? And they say, well, I could do at least 15, and they end up doing 2, this would be not so good with the PR. Same being said, if somebody comes in and they say they could do about 10, but they do 30, this again, the PR would be off. There's something skewing things in that perspective. So the idea is that we want to bring that closer to what it really is. So this would look like somebody coming in and say they could do about 15 push-ups and they end up around 14 or 16. This would be good. This means that we're kind of closer to being able to work on what we call the personal health environment. I'm not going to talk about that today, but that is something that we kind of strive towards, as well as somebody can also come in and they could say, well, you know, I could do about 30, and when they get close to, let's say, 15, they reevaluate and say, well, you know what, I probably got 5 more in me, and they push and they do the 5, and that is also a good way of saying they're able to reassess in the middle of doing something and then say where they're going to hit. This would be very good. There is one thing that is above that, and we're going to take a look at this in the second way of evaluating progress. And this is essentially the person's wisdom or depth, WD. And this is going to take a look at more of a fine quality to what they're doing. So it's not necessarily just moving forward in determination and getting high marks or getting well on something, but it is the ability to penetrate the depth of that thing. So this might be seen in, if we're looking at the fitness style version, we would see this quality in an athletic person. So the movement, even though it's an exercise, starts to look beautiful. It starts to be fluid. It's hard to tell when it starts, when it stops. The motion is continuous, smooth. That is the quality you'd be looking for. Now if we switch that over into physical health, now we're looking for the same kind of fluidity, but kind of in depth. So the person would say, if we're doing the same push-up analogy, when the person is doing the push-up, they would quantify, you know, I could do about 15 push-ups. They come in, they do 15 push-ups. They possibly say that, you know, I have a couple more in me, but I know the quality of my push-up will suffer, therefore it's not worth doing the other 5 or 10 that I can do. This would give a little bit more depth. A person stops after doing 3 or 4 and says, well, I can do 15, but I'm feeling tension in my wrist, and I think I should take care of that. This kind of denotes more of a connection with the body, as opposed to just working through it or having bad form or technique. They see the wisdom in looking at the limiting factor first. This can also be seen in lifestyle, where somebody coming into the physical health realm of things might start off their day being stressed out. And as they get more used to the programming and used to pursuing physical health, They might employ 3 or 4 strategies to reduce stress. Not only that, they'll stay away from the things that stress them out. Even better yet, they'll find ways to overcome that stress internally. So no matter where it is, they can surpass it. This generally denotes a deeper looking into the thing, right? And we're always looking for the litmus test of the body. The body will always bring us the truth. So if somebody says that they are compassionate, they must be able to follow through with compassionate action. If they do compassionate action, then we could say they have an idea. They could penetrate compassion a little bit deeper and say, how does it round what makes an action compassionate? And they might say, well, before I thought helping people was the best way to do things, but I'm starting to see now that when you help them, you might be taking away from what they need to kind of overcome themselves. So again, denoting a little bit more depth in their action before doing it, or reflecting on an action that was already done. These are the 2 ways, again, that we can see the progress when it comes to physical health. And again, this is more seen in the lifestyle of the person, changes that are made there. And we're always moving towards creating the personal environment of health. And in this way, let me reiterate, our 2 forms of monitoring this progress is perceived reality, PR, and then the person's ability to impart more wisdom or depth, WD, on their perspectives and way of doing things in life. All right, thank you very much for listening, and have a great day.